Hey everybody, welcome back to Gearhead Daily. You know what? That one was so much fun yesterday. Let's do another one, except this time we're just going to do muscle cars. Now, I did not make this list. Somebody else made this list. The difference is today I am super fired up. So it might get a little nutty. Okay, so bear with me. But there's a couple of these cars that are on this list. Again, I didn't make this list. Somebody else made this list. And I can already tell A muscle cars. Okay, so this is the way things are going to be broken down. God tier. Would buy. Yeah, I would own that. Beige, meaning it's fine. It's fine. It appeals to a lot of people. It's fine. And then there's meh, and of course, hard pass. No, absolutely not. Not going to happen. So let's just jump right in. Fifth generation Camaro. At this point, they're beige. It's meh. They're not quite to the meh category. They're fine. They're kind of fun. They don't, the issue I have is seeing over the dash and that giant ass hood. It's real tough. So a couple criteria that I have for cars, like the 57 Bel Air that is blue. A lot of these pictures are cut off. So again, not my list, right? Not my list. But here's the criteria that I have for particularly God tier cars, especially when it comes to muscle cars. Cars that have had a particular influence on the market, or the first of something, or something just iconic. And the fact that there's 1,000 replica 57 shoe boxes out there, 55 to 57, tells me it's got to go in the God tier. Would I own one? Nah, it's not really for me, but seriously, otherwise, God tier stuff. Fourth generation Camaro. It's a big bag of meh. I've driven one. They're fine. The LS motor came out in those, but I'll be honest, meh, they don't do anything for me. Honestly, they look like a Geoprism from back in the day, so they don't do anything for me. Oh, good Lord. My wife loves these things, the El Caminos, and I'll be honest, they go into the, I can't do it. I don't like them. I just don't like them. They're a hard pass. Hard pass. No, thank you. If I wanted a truck, I'd buy a truck. If I wanted a car, I'd buy a car. Some bastardization version in the middle. Nah, no thanks. So, looks like I think this is a Jay Leno's. Looks like a GTX or something. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Second generation Camaro. They're fine. As a matter of fact, that almost looks like a photo I took for a magazine I did a while back. It's funny because I do see some photos floating around back in the day from when I was photographing for magazines. So every once in a while, I'll run into a photo and be like, "Hey, I recognize that. I did that." So the Pontiac GTO, they're fine. Beige, fine. Meh. I think they, kind of started the whole, muscle car craze, which was kind of cool, but quickly got eclipsed by other cars. The GTX, again, put it into the beige category. Again, fine. I wouldn't buy one, but they're fine. The Mustang, kind of that early, like late 60s Mustang. Again, kind of beige for me. Doesn't really do anything for me. I don't think they handle super great, and I don't think being able to take the front end apart is super easy to do. Like in a first gen Camaro, you can rip the fenders off, but in a Mustang, they're integrated into the front end of it, and they suck. So not a big fan of the front suspension on those things. Fifth gen Corvette. I gotta put the fifth gen Corvette up here in the would buy category. These things are a huge step up from that fourth gen Corvette, and a huge leap. The Z06 got introduced as an official package. Prior to that, it was just an option you could get, but I do love the Corvette package as it is. This is where I'm going to get some flack, but the new Challenger gets a meh from me, and here's why. The engine packages, that's all they are. They're just giant engine packages, and that's all they are. They're nothing to write home about. There's 1,000 people running around with V6s of these things that are complete jackasses and make the rest of you look horrible by comparison. So they don't handle for crap. They're super heavy, and they're basically just Dodge's excuse to be able to throw a huge ass engine in something. So trucks. If you're gonna buy a muscle car, don't buy a truck. Okay, buy a truck. Buy a truck. You're moving plywood. You should be doing something with it. This truck, I give it credit. It's actually going off road. I don't care what it is. It looks like a Chevy Silverado or something. Don't care. Chevelle. Chevelle is in the would buy category. They're kind of fun. They're big swoopy cars. Not, you know, they're fine. I'd probably buy one. I'd probably own one, but it would have to be LS swapped at some point. AC Cobra, God tier, right? Straight from Carroll Shelby's godlike hand, and then swapped out in a proper motor for those British piles of junk that they call engines, and now you have an actual race car. First, kind of that first gen Corvette gets God tier from me just because, well, hey, I mean, look at them, they're iconic, right? Started the whole craze. Those things, little tiny cars with big engines, right? The Thunder Chicken. I will be honest, I didn't like Smoking the Bandit. It's not a movie for me. I don't, they're kind of beige. They're fine. They're kind of neat. The Thunder Chicken's kind of cool on the hood, but again, it's fine. I wouldn't own one. They're fine. Again, truck. You're buying a sports car. Don't buy a truck. Okay, I got a friend of mine who's got a Hennessy Dodge Ram, which maybe this is. Like, the picture is very tiny. I can't tell. And I'll tell you, it's fun and it goes fast, but it's not a sports car. Okay, it's just not. So let's pretend that this blue thing is a Mustang Type R. If it is a Type R, it goes in the would buy. I think those are cool. The big wings on them, they look neat. Ground effects, I think they're pretty sweet. You've got the late 70s. Oh man, I hate these things. I might have to, hard pass into that kind of box style Malibu, El Caminos. Nope, not gonna happen. I would say the Dodge Charger in all black from Bullitt, the bad guy's car, God tier car, very top. If you're gonna do muscle car, that's the way to do it. All black, red line tires, big Hemi under the motor. Yeah, absolutely. C5 Corvette, definitely in the would buy category. You have to go with the Z06 version in the manual. No convertibles. We drive like men here, okay? Early 70s Mustang, meh. They're slow. They're sort of okay to look at. They're just a meh. Fourth gen Corvette with the LT1, which I happen to co-wrote a book about with Myron Cottrell from TPIS. They're in the meh category. You hop these things up, you move them up to beige, in my opinion. But for the most part, they're just meh. Very difficult to tell what this one is. The picture is very, very tiny, so I'm gonna skip that one. This one looks like the Cuda, and it gets a beige from me. I think they look good, but I don't think I'd ever buy one. Same with the bright orange GTO. Again, very cool, but didn't really do anything for me. They're big and they're heavy, and the Pontiacs use their own specific motors and stuff. And it's another big bag of it's fine. The 7th gen Corvette, God tier crap. Holy crap! You can get these things nowadays for Z06s for $60,000-$70,000 with low miles. You throw sticky rubber on them, and they are legitimate race cars. Okay, these things are great. The suspension is fantastic. If you get the magnetic rides set up, awesome across the board. Honestly, great cars for the money, and you can beat the hell out of them. And I mean, once you kind of figure out what the what Chevrolet does to test their engines, they go through one hell of a beating. So they can take it and at the track and still drive you home with AC and the cooled seats. Although the cooled seats are meh. Just okay. The Gran Torino, especially if you're going the Starsky and Hutch one. Oh, I gotta put this one in the God tier category only for Starsky and Hutch. That's the only reason I would put it in that category. It did start that whole craze, and it did kind of keep that version of the car scene going. It's rear wheel drive. They're kind of fun. Yeah, I don't think I'd buy one though. The GNX or the Buick, I think, goes into the God tier category at a time when cars were running 16-second quarter miles. This is the thing that could, rip off a 12-second deal with a Turbo 6. Iconic car. Everybody knows it. It's black on black on black. I mean, Buick was your, stereotypical grandparents' car, and then they come out with this thing, come out with the fastest drag racing car produced for a long, long time, right out of the box. So you got to give credit where credit's due. The newer Mustang, this is the slightly older Mustang, gets a beige. Meh. I think that I want to say this is like a Pontiac Tempest, I think, goes in the meh category. This particular Dodge Plymouth goes into the meh category. These third gen Camaros, if you do them right with suspension and an LS motor, you know, they get bumped up to would buy, but for the most part, if you do them right with a decent ground effect, decent wheel package, they can be nice. From the factory, even the IROCs, kind of garbage. So, again, goes into, I think I'm going to have to go to beige also for the Monte Carlo. I did like that body style for a while until I drove one, and the front end seriously feels like you're driving a box car. They are absolutely, absolutely worthless. And I cannot, as far as suspension goes, at least the stock stuff, I'll say. I don't know exactly what that is. The picture is very tiny on my screen, so I'm sorry I can't see what this one is. So I can't evaluate. I don't know if it's a Packard or the Doc Hudson car. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to put that back into the list. But the Corvette split looks like a split window 63. Very iconic. Everybody knows it. Love that shape, that 60s kind of swooping back end. If you've ever driven one, they are claustrophobic. They're super tiny on the inside. You know, kind of finicky a little bit to drive, but honestly, iconic cars, they have to go into that God tier category. Again, we've got another Mustang. This is kind of that early 70s, and this gets that's a hard pass. Buy a Maverick. Save your money and buy a Maverick. Again, that 90s, notchback Mustang. Yeah, they're meh. I don't know. They're just okay. You can do them right, but out of the box, they're garbage. God tier. The Superbird, absolutely God freaking tier. Okay, I don't. For anybody in the back, you can hear me. God freaking tier. That car is amazing. I don't care if it handles well or not. When you have a sanctioning body create an entire rule because your car is too fast for the entire field, you know you did something right. And you could buy these things super cheap back in the day because nobody wanted them because, look at them. They're, 18 feet of front hood and nobody wanted them. You could pick them up super cheap. Today, if you were smart and you held on to them, you might be sitting on a lot of cash. Another Chevelle. Yeah, I'm going to, I'll probably put the Chevelle in the would buy category. They look good. You put a decent set of wheels on them. Those racing stripes, iconic, kind of goes across the board. First gen Camaro, gonna get God tier. I mean, they hit the hit the freaking cover off the ball the first time. That first gen Camaro, honestly, perfection straight out of the bat. We've got our kind of late 60s, early 70s Corvette. They're beige. They're just blah, in my opinion. We've got kind of that S195, I think, Mustang. Again, beige. Out of the box. They're just fine. They're fine. Just, it's like somebody, you go to a bar and you're hanging out with your buddies and you get really nothing to talk about. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Fine. I don't want to talk about it. What do you drive? V6 Mustang. Oh, does it have two tailpipes or just one? Oh, it's got just got the one. Oh, okay, so it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. And the last one on here is a slightly hopped up Mustang. Yeah, even it's not a GT500 or any of the newer ones, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with just fine. It's fine. But honestly, hard pass on a few of these that I hate El Caminos. I'm sorry. If you love El Caminos and maybe I can't do it. And if you're gonna buy a muscle car, don't buy a truck. That's my word for the day. All right. See ya.